Here with my assistant football coach is Rick Meyer. Rick, an exciting 2012 season, and you have the opportunity to continue to build on that this spring. You being the linebackers coach, you've seen a lot of success, especially as you take a guy like Seth Mathis, an All-American from a season ago. How do you continue to see growth in him and the linebackers as a unit in the 2013 season?
Well, I think for the linebackers as a group, Seth kind of leads that group, and from the start, he's been somebody that's been incredibly internally motivated on his own. So trying to take him and take him another step isn't really all my job. It's a very small part of my job. It's just he comes to work every day and asks to get better and puts in the time and the effort and gives 100%, maybe more than anybody else I've ever experienced. He wants to be better than what he was last year, which is going to be a tough job. And he came into my office and kind of addressed that really quickly after the season, just saying, I've got work to do. Even after the last game, the first thing he said as he was coming off the field, we made one of the goals that I had for myself, but I've got a long ways to go, which was exciting for me to hear that.
Yeah.
Even more exciting for me to hear and watch how he's gone about this offseason, just the incredible work ethic that he's displayed, the leadership that he's displayed. And he does have things that he gets to work on. He's got some things of finishing up some tackles. He's so athletic getting to the ball that there'll be some things that he knows he's addressing in terms of where he's placed in his helmet, how he's getting to those gaps, and then how he's finishing with his feet. So he's excited to go. He's had a great offseason. But like I said, he's a leader of that entire linebacking core. And the fun thing is he's got a brother that's going to be pushing for some playing time in that other spot along with him, as we got two inside linebackers. So it's a fun dynamic that way. He's a cheerleader for his brother. He's not only a cheerleader for his brother, he's a cheerleader for the rest of the guys, which is exciting just to watch that whole display as we go through some meetings here in spring ball and as we go through workouts. So for a linebacking group as a core, we got into a little bit of an issue with our other linebacker from last year, Trent Dupenthaler. Had a neck injury that he was dealing with throughout the season, so he's not going to be able to be back with us, so we're trying to find that new depth that we'd have there. So we're going to have a battle for that other spot. It's a battle all around. Seth's just going to keep getting better, and hopefully he continues to grow the way that he is, and obviously we'll fill that first spot, and then who's that other guy. As what's exciting for me is I've got a group of probably 4 or 5 other guys that are really exciting to see how they're going to grow, because they haven't had a lot of snaps, but they all have a lot of good qualities about them and some really good assets. So Landon Mathis, Seth's brother, will be in the mix. Mike Schmalzer, who played quite a bit last year, will be in the mix. Those two guys are probably going to be the front runners to battle that other spot out. And then we got Lee Tenenoff coming off of an ACL injury that'll provide depth and give an opportunity, because he's incredibly gifted athletically. He's just got to learn the linebacker spot a little bit more, along with Matt Dorholt the same way. So.
Okay. Well, you talked about good depth in the linebacking core. Tell us a little bit more about the defensive front and how you guys work together, linebackers and that defensive line up front, what they provide, and who's going to see some key time this spring as you prepare for the fall.
Sure. Probably the number, if we put a word on what the relationship between the front 3 guys up on the line and the linebackers is, it's trust. Is for the linebackers to do their work, we need to make sure that the line is in the proper spot. And so you watch a lot of different games and you see where teams break down, and it typically starts up front. So those guys are incredibly crucial to not only be fast and physical, but to be very smart, be very aware, and be in the right spots. And it's critical that we see them in the right spots, so that then the linebacker, that second group, can fit up in their correct areas, and we got all those gaps filled. If we're able to do that successfully, then our secondary can focus more on taking care of the pass, and then they even are able to recognize if they're needed against the run. Here's where I'm needed, as opposed to, boy, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, I'm just going to throw myself down there. And then people get out of their gap, and we talk about gap responsibility all the time, and those front 3 guys are critical for it. So we're excited to have a group of guys that are back. We got 2 ends that played significant time last year in Luke Butenhoff and Kyle Asmus, which were phenomenal last year. Big surprises from Kyle Asmus, just in terms of how he kind of transpired into a really good defensive end. He was a powerful kid and really did some nice things for us as a younger player that was in his first year last year. So now he's got a year underneath him, which he'll only get better because he's dedicated. and he's really had a great offseason. And then Luke Butenhoff plays basketball, so he's kind of getting back into the football stuff, and it's fun to watch him get back in shape. But obviously he's been a proven leader and a proven player up front for us with a number of big plays over the course of his time, so he'll be a senior, and we'll look to fill that role. In the other spots, looking for depth, we're going to have a new nose guard after we graduated our nose guard from last year, so we'll look to fill that spot, which is always a critical spot. It's kind of a hidden spot on our defensive line. But it's something that's exciting for us. We got Will Van Duzer, who will come in, and he's kind of the front runner for that nose guard position. Is put on probably about 20 pounds, and it's solid muscle. He's a great lifter, and so we're excited to see how he can kind of hold up in the middle after last year being pushed around just a little bit because he was a little lighter. Now he's going to fill that role to be able to be that big bowling ball in the middle, and then we'll look for depth from other guys like Casey Nordine on the line, and some of our young guys have done really well in that position as well. So.
Well, one of the big things you've had the opportunity and probably the appreciation of seeing these guys continue to build themselves as a strength and conditioning coach. They put in a lot of time through the off season. Well, now you get to see more time on the field a little bit. What's the purpose of these actual 3 weeks of getting on the field for you specifically, but as a coaching staff, what are you wanting to see out of these guys?
I think the first thing we always look for is how well guys are bonding. Obviously, they get in the weight room and they go through their workouts and they do a great job there. And now it's taking all that energy that they have from the weight room and how they've developed their body and making it specific to football. And so you can get big, you can get muscular, you can do all those different things, but if you don't know what you're doing out there, it really doesn't matter. So it's taking and maturing that strength into something that's football specific. And not only is it that, man, I want to be great for myself, but these guys, it's critical, and it's fun to watch our guys because of the relationships that they have and the closeness that they have, and everything's been bred by Coach Jay and what his message and vision has been throughout the year and the course of his years here. That just the togetherness, we're trying to get to the point where guys are continuing to push as hard as they did in the weight room to be excellent on the football field together in that manner. And it's fun just to see the guys out there. They've been cooped up for about 6 months here now with all the snow, with all the weather and everything, and they haven't had a football in their hand. You think about basketball and some of the other sports where they just continually need to do it the entire year. When you get out there for the first time after about 6 months, just the energy is contagious. It's just a joy to be around, and the guys are really honed in, maybe more than any other time, to learn because there's nothing else to do and they've been away from it for so long. So there's a lot of stuff, especially for younger guys, that gets taught during this time. And it's exciting probably most for them because they're going to play a significant part. We talk about some of these young guys that are coming up to push, and this is a great time for them to kind of get ahead. If they're a freshman right now, they've had a season in front of them, but now they get an opportunity to really get even more part of the mix by learning some of the stuff during two-a-days or during spring ball as opposed to two-a-days. So just gives them more confidence when they come in the fall because of what they've done now.
Well, Coach, we're excited about it. I know it's fun to get under the lights these days at Mounds View, but obviously it gives us an indication of what's to come in the fall of 2013. Thanks again for the time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.